Inside the Magic, show number 475 for May 11th, 2014.
I love you very much, dear.
I love you more.
I love you most.
Don't forget it. You regret it. Mother knows best.
It is Sunday, May 11th, 2014. It is also Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all of you moms out there. Hopefully you're a better mother than Mother Gothel was to Rapunzel. Anyway, it is show 475 of Inside the Magic, and as always, I am your host, Ricky Briganti, with another bunch of Disney and theme park fun. Before we get to all of it, I invite you to visit our website at InsideTheMagic.net. There you'll find all of our podcasts, videos, photos, news, articles, and plenty more. And if you ever have any news, tips, questions, comments, anything you want to send in, you can email me at ricky@InsideTheMagic.net, or you can call and leave a message at 407-494-4ITM. That's 4486. And now, let's get on with the show. This week's episode of Inside the Magic is brought to you by Magical Travel. Book your summer Disney cruise with Magical Travel and receive a shipboard credit to use while you're on your vacation. But you're going to want to book now for the best availability and pricing by calling Magical Travel today at 866-207-8387 or visit them online at magicaltravel.com, and be sure to mention Inside the Magic to receive your free Disney gift card for qualifying bookings when you book your Disney vacation with Magical Travel. And thanks very much to all contributors to Inside the Magic, whether you make a one-time donation, recurring donation, or click through Amazon or any of the other affiliate links over on InsideTheMagic.net. It all supports this show, and I thank you very much for it. And now let's get started with a trip around the world. Before we get into this week's news, I want to mention that the music you're going to be hearing in the background here was recorded live at Disneyland Paris in Café Fantasia at the Disneyland Hotel out there. It's a nice medley of Disney songs recorded by Maurice from the Netherlands. So thanks very much to Maurice for sending it in. Now let's get to the news, starting with Star Wars Weekends, which begins at Disney's Hollywood Studios just a few days from now, out here at Walt Disney World. And there's been a nice perk that Disney has added this year, the ability to book certain presentations via the FastPass Plus system. There are certainly going to be some presentations and panels, discussions, and the like that will be very, very popular, especially with some certain celebrities that will be there. And it's nice to have the ability to go online in advance and reserve a spot to not have to wait all day to get in there. The events that are available for booking include the Behind the Force events that'll feature Star Wars Rebels cast members, James Arnold Taylor's Obi-Wan and Beyond presentation. Ray Park's going to be there, and his presentation has FastPass Plus availability. But most importantly of all, the Stars of the Saga talk shows will, of course, spotlight each weekend's biggest stars, and those are available as well. Now, the biggest of the stars that will be at Star Wars Weekends this year is certainly Mark Hamill. Luke Skywalker himself recently announced to officially be returning to the Star Wars series, starting with Episode 7. And he is going to be at Star Wars Weekends June 6th through 8th. And he's not going to be signing autographs. He's not going to be doing meet and greets. The only way to see him is to see him in the motorcade, as well as in this Stars of the Saga talk show. Now, FastPass Plus availability went up just a few days ago for these talk shows, and of course he'll be joined by that weekend by Billy D. Williams, who was Lando, Ray Park, Darth Maul, and hosted by James Arnold Taylor. All that should be pretty exciting. And very quickly, as FastPass Plus went up, it went away. I don't know if it's completely booked up at this point. It probably is. I thankfully did manage to land a FastPass Plus booking for the first day as well as Sunday. So I'm going to go back for both Mark Hamill presentations and maybe wait in line on on Saturday to see it. He's obviously a huge Star Wars celebrity, and I'm sure he'll have very interesting things to say. Maybe he'll even talk about Episode 7 a little bit. I don't know. We'll see. So I'm looking forward to that. But other than him, all the other weekends, lots of FastPass Plus is available. So go to mydisneyexperience.com or use the app to book yours. A little more Star Wars news. Ashley Eckstein of Her Universe is going to be back at Star Wars Weekends this year. She'll be hosting those Behind the Force presentations. She'll also be debuting her all-new Star Wars product line that includes R2-D2 My Hero jewelry collection. You can go to heruniverse.com to see that now. Now, just days after Walt Disney World had announced some big plans for Disney's Animal Kingdom, we talked about last week on the show, Harambe Nights coming up this summer, and then Rivers of Light, the big Lagoon Lake show that'll be coming sometime within the next couple of years. Disney has announced another entertainment offering that is coming very soon this summer for Animal Kingdom. It's called Winged Encounters: The Kingdom Takes Flight. And it will feature a variety of colorful macaws high above Discovery Island. It's kind of a spin-off of the park's Flights of Wonder show, giving guests a further chance to see these colorful birds. There will be 6 different types of macaw used in the show, and they've already begun training. You might see these birds flying overhead already early in the morning, but the show has not officially debuted yet. No specific date, but sometime this summer. And speaking of upcoming shows, jumping over to Epcot now, the Eat to the Beat concert series for the Epcot International Food and Wine Festival that starts just after summer. The lineup for that concert series has been announced. Of course, these concerts are performed in the America Gardens Theater, included in Epcot Park admission. Joining the lineup for the first time this year are Jody Messina, Fuel and Los Lonely Boys, and the complete lineup. I'll just run through these at a rapid pace, starting September 19th and then continuing all the way through the final weekend, which is November 8th. In order, the performances are Jody Messina, the Pointer Sisters, Rick Springfield, Christopher Cross Hansen, Air Supply, Starship starring Mickey Thomas, Sugar Ray, Fuel, Sister Hazel, one act to be announced, Billy Ocean, Night Ranger, Smash Mouth, Jim Brickman, Los Lonely Boys, Wilson Phillips, Dennis DeYoung, who is an original member of Styx, 38 Special, Boys to Men, David Cook, and Big Bad Voodoo Daddy. I am eager to find out what that to-be-announced act is, because none of those really appeal to my own musical tastes, though I'm sure there are plenty of acts in there that appeal to many people. I'm not personally particularly excited about any of them, but such is the nature of concert lineups like this. So if any of those meet your liking, Epcot's going to be the place to be. To see them, I'll be busy stuffing my face around the Food and Wine Festival. Now let's jump over to Universal Orlando, where some very, very exciting things are coming up very, very soon. We're going to find out new details about Harry Potter and the Escape from Gringotts. That's the massive new attraction that'll be the centerpiece of the Diagon Alley expansion of the Wizarding World of Harry Potter over at Universal Studios Florida. Of course, this is the bank in Diagon Alley, and Universal this week has shown off a first look at one of the queue scenes that features animatronic goblins that look fantastic. That's right, actual audio animatronics from Universal. It's not just screens. And I'm sure there's much, much more to be seen from this attraction. They also showed off some new concept art for the load area, kind of this double load area, very reminiscent of, let's say, the Indiana Jones ride at Disneyland, though themed completely differently, obviously. This concept art was put online on Universal Orlando's new official blog at blog.universalorlando.com. And it's there that Universal says they will be unveiling these new details about the Escape from Gringotts attraction on May 13th, just a couple of days from now. It all is in conjunction, or I guess simultaneous, with a series of airings this week for the Today Show that will be showing off some sneak peeks of Diagon Alley. Should be a lot to look forward to this week, and hopefully they'll announce an opening date for all of it as well. Seems likely, though we'll just have to wait and see. You can already head to InsideTheMagic.net to catch some video of these animatronic goblins in action. Watch one of them turn its head and speak to you, and find out more information. If you are interested in working at Universal Orlando, they have a lot of opportunities available. They're hiring hundreds and hundreds of people as they continue to expand not only the parks, but City Walk as well. They're hiring full-time and part-time positions as bartenders, wait staff, restaurant managers, sous chef, cook, second cook, line production cook, etc. So a lot of restaurant-related jobs because City Walk continues to expand with more restaurants, and Universal has announced a new minimum pay rate. It starts at $9 per hour beginning June 1st. Speaking of new things, over at SeaWorld Orlando's Aquatica Water Park just a couple of days ago was the debut of Ehu's Breakaway Falls, the very tall, 8 stories tall, new water slides. There's 4 of them, colorful water slides that are at the top. 3 of them feature this great breakaway feature. You step into a colorful box, and then suddenly the floor disappears from out below you, and you get sent plummeting downward at a rapid pace, going around twists and turns before splashing down at the bottom. And the 4th slide doesn't have the breakaway box, but it's actually the most thrilling of the bunch because you have to, sort of propel yourself down the slide, push your way down. And once you've done that, you again go soaring downward, and it's just a lot. I went through all 4 slides, some of them more than once. They're all really, really fun. An excellent addition to the park. If you want to see some really amusing video that I had a great time shooting and editing, I think it turned out wonderful. Head over to our YouTube channel or InsideTheMagic.net, and you'll see not only these slides in action, but them in super slow motion. I shot some video at 240 frames per second and slowed it down so that it's this smooth, almost graceful look at myself and others dropping out of Ehu's Breakaway Falls. Pretty entertaining, so you should definitely go see that, and some photos and a full write-up all about this new attraction over at SeaWorld Orlando's Aquatica Water Park. Here's some other exciting news that I'm just absolutely thrilled about coming up this summer at Nick Hotel here in Orlando is the Summer of Shell. It's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles themed entertainment throughout the summer, and I'm a huge Turtles fan, have been since I was very young, and I am really looking forward to seeing a lot of this going on at Nick Hotel. It's going to include new Turtles themed guest suites, some poolside parties, dinner shows, other unique experiences. Not only are Michelangelo, Leonardo, Raphael, and Donatello there to meet and greet with, as they have been for many months now, but they're adding April O'Neil is going to be there, as well as a show featuring the Foot Soldiers. It's all during special weekends, and there's going to be one really special weekend in the middle of June called TMNT Retro Weekend that's going to feature the original voice cast of the cartoon from the late 80s, early 90s, with photo opportunities and autographs available, and screenings of episodes, trivia, scavenger hunt, and more. There will be 10 of these newly designed Turtles guest suites in all, debuting in June, and that Retro Weekend is going to take place June 13th through 15th in celebration of the 30th anniversary of the TMNT comic book. In addition, there's the new Turtle Power poolside show, as well as abilities to dine with the Turtles. A Guinness World Record largest gathering of people dressed as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is going to happen on August 9th. New artwork will be around the lagoon pool, and here's the catch to all of this, though. It's all available only to guests that are staying at Nick Hotel. You can't just drop by and see it on your own. They have a pretty tight security there. You have to have a reason to be there. That is, you have to have a reservation. So nickhotel.com/TMNT is where you can find out more information. Now, from D23, new details have been announced, or really the full details have been announced for the upcoming touring Faniversary celebrations across 11 cities around the United States. This year's Faniversary events are going to run roughly 105 minutes, and they'll include some music, some never-before-heard tracks, including Evil Evil from Sleeping Beauty and a demo recording from The Little Mermaid. Other topics that are celebrating anniversaries that'll be part of the Faniversary events include Donald Duck's 80th anniversary, the 60th anniversary of the Disneyland TV show, Sleeping Beauty, Darby O'Gill and the Little People, Disneyland's Monorail, Matterhorn and Submarine Voyage, the 1964-65 World's Fair, Mary Poppins, Haunted Mansion, Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. The list goes on and on. There's quite a lot of anniversaries. In addition, a couple of items from the Walt Disney Archives will be on display with photography permitted at these Faniversary events, including a hat worn by Julie Andrews in Mary Poppins, as well as the Duckster Award that was created in 1952 in the image of Donald Duck to honor those who made significant contributions to Disney over the years. So here's the list of cities that the Faniversary will be visiting, starting August 9th in Burbank, California, followed by San Diego, San Francisco, Chicago, Seattle, Atlanta, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., New York City, Boston, and then finishing up in Orlando on October 25th. For those who are paid D23 Gold and Silver members, you can have the first opportunity to purchase tickets starting about a week and a half from now, May 21st, for $23. Then D23 free members can buy tickets beginning June 11th for $33. And then everyone who's not a member, starting July 9th, can buy tickets for $40. D23.com/events is where you can find out more information. Now to the world of movies. The Sleeping Beauty Diamond Edition Blu-ray will be coming out October 7th, and this edition of the movie will feature a behind-the-scenes feature on the Festival of Fantasy Parade for out here at Walt Disney World, hosted by Sarah Hyland of Modern Family, as well as some deleted scenes and a spotlight on artwork. In TV news, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. on ABC has been renewed for a second season, and another Marvel TV show has been picked up. It is Agent Carter. Spin-off-ish of the Captain America series, starring Captain America's Haley Atwell from the story, she's the actress, the story of Peggy Carter. It's going to be set in 1946, and the description says, "Peace has dealt Peggy Carter a serious blow as she finds herself marginalized when the men return home from fighting abroad. Working for the covert SSR, Strategic Scientific Reserve, Peggy must balance doing administrative work and going on secret missions for Howard Stark, all while trying to navigate life as a single woman in America in the wake of losing the love of her life, Steve Rogers." Should be pretty interesting. I'm really looking forward to seeing where that TV show goes. Now, here's a special event that's coming up this summer that I'm really looking forward to as well. Tickets are on sale now for 30% off for the Scare LA convention in August. That's in Los Angeles, actually in downtown Los Angeles. Last year, this new convention debuted on the same weekend as the D23 Expo, so unfortunately I wasn't able to go to both, but more than 4,000 fans and professionals and media attended the first Scare LA convention, and I will be going out for this year's. It's taking place August 9th and 10th. At the Reef, which is formerly the LA Mart, and it will feature presentations and industry panels, workshops, on-site attractions, a show floor. We'll have presentations from Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios Hollywood, Knott's Scary Farm, and other big haunted attractions. You can find out more information over on our website. And now, last bit of news here before I tell you all about it. Here's a little jingle.
Oh, 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 Zell, oh, Zell. Oh, Zell, oh, Zell, oh, Zell, a soda so refreshing, so cool and effervescing. Oh, Zell, oh, Zell, oh, Zell, oh, Zell, oh, Zell, just raise a glass or two, you'll smile and say, who knew? An American original you will prefer, all natural, delectable, made with Hawaiian cane sugar. Oh, Zell, oh, Zell, oh, Zell, oh, Zell, oh, Zell, you can tell by the taste and the grin on your face. Oh, Zell, that's so Zell, oh so swell. You're on the trolley, now you're on the trolley. You're on the trolley, now you're on the trolley. You're on the trolley, now you're on the trolley.
Now, those of you who are really, really into Disney history might already recognize the name Ozell. I hadn't heard of it until just a few days ago when a mystery package showed up at my door with 12 bottles of Ozell soda. And in it, a note explaining exactly what was going on. And this is really fascinating. Apparently, many, many years ago, 1912, Elias Disney, Walt Disney's father, invested in a little soda company, Ozell, and put quite a lot of money into it. Walt Disney himself even worked on the soda factory floor for a time, and ultimately it was they discovered that it was kind of a con. The guy who owned the company didn't really have plans on bringing this to market so much as just taking people's money. They made nothing from it. The company closed. The soda never reached the public. until now. The folks behind the Walt Disney Birthplace restoration project in Chicago that we've talked about quite a few weeks ago, Brent, Dina, Robert, they have now brought back this brand, Ozell Soda, making it available to the public for the very first time. And so the box of soda that was at my door had vanilla and root beer flavors. The two flavors that they have available, website is o-zell.com. That's where you can purchase it. I'll tell you, it is some delicious soda, and it's even more fun knowing the history of what all of this is all about. Now, you know, we can't really say if this is exactly the flavors that were made years ago, but they are certainly good, and it's the spirit of the whole thing that's important, especially because all proceeds of the sales of this new soda go directly to the restoration, the continued restoration of the Walt Disney Birthplace project. It is still ongoing. They're hoping to wrap it up by the end of this year, but the more funds they have, the better. The soda is a little bit pricey, but again, it is a delicious drink that I am quite enjoying and happy to spread the word about, just because this project is something that I really want to see get completed, and if you can enjoy some lovely drinks in the process, then that's even better. So o-zell.com is where you can go to read more about this. There's a lot more to the story. They have some great illustrations on there to help show it out. Go to the website, check out the story, read about the history behind it, and then you can decide if you want to buy some of this soda or not. And then, it's a really unexpected piece of Disney history that I had never heard of before, so it's great to learn about that, and I certainly wish them the best in this project. And that'll do it for your news from around the world this week. Here's a quick tip for those of you who want to get started at Walt Disney World a little bit earlier with some fun entertainment. Eva writes in, says, one piece of advice to start your day right is to have a super early breakfast at one of the on-site Walt Disney World hotels, such as Grand Floridian, 1900 Park Fair, and enjoy character meet and greet and photo ops. Eva, great tip there for anyone who's maybe got some young kids who want some entertainment immediately first thing in the morning, or you're just, an early riser and the parks aren't open yet and you still want to have a nice meal but also enjoy a little bit of fun as well. Those character breakfasts, it's not something I do regularly personally, but I remember years ago coming as a tourist to Walt Disney World, especially when I was younger, and I quite enjoyed, even though I'm not a morning person, I wasn't then either, I quite enjoyed sitting down to, say, Chef Mickey's at the Contemporary and seeing all of the crazy character interactions over breakfast, and the food's pretty good too. So definitely a fun way to start the morning even before you hit the parks. Everybody else, email your tips into tips@insidethemagic.net. And now I'd like to include a word about our newest sponsor, Scooter Vacations. On your next Walt Disney World trip, if you or someone you're with needs help getting around the parks, check out the scooters from Scooter Vacations for enhanced mobility. With 6 models to choose from, you'll find a scooter that meets your needs, including models small enough to fit in a car trunk, or specialty luxury models for use on boats or buses or monorails. Scooter Vacations is the only scooter company with 24-hour customer service, so contact them now for more information or to make a reservation at 855-WDW-SCOOT. That's 855-WDW-SCOOT. Or you can just find them online at scootorlando.com. Last week on the show, I talked all about the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train and the excitement surrounding that. Of course, it's still a couple of weeks away from officially opening, but there is an even more popular attraction that exists over at the Magic Kingdom and likely will continue to be the most popular thing there even when the Mine Train opens. Of course, I'm talking about the meet and greet with Anna and Elsa in Princess Fairytale Hall. It is something that is just a phenomenon. Frozen continues to be hugely popular in every form. Merchandise flying off of the shelves and people waiting 3 and 4 hours to meet these princesses, though, you know, there is FastPass Plus availability, which is nice. But to dive a little bit deeper into this phenomenon and Princess Fairytale Hall in general and kind of the plans for the future of this location as well as the future of Frozen in the parks, I talked with the same woman that you heard from on the show last week. It's a show producer and Walt Disney Imagineer Pam Rawlins. She was the show producer for Mine Train and Princess Fairytale Hall as well, and the perfect person to talk to about this phenomenon that is Frozen.
So it seems to me that Princess Fairytale Hall was a different take on the meet and greet. There's a lot more interactivity, a lot more time spent with the characters. What feedback have you gotten since it opened? You know, has it been well received?
It's been very well received, and we purposely wanted to do an immersive, it's not even a meet and greet, it's more of a immersive experience where you do get to spend some time with your favorite princess as you go through there. And it's done in a very castle-like setting, and it's actually an extension of Cinderella's castle.
Right.
So the story behind it is King Stephen has given this to Cinderella so she can visit with her visiting princesses that come room and have, you know, social room. So it's done in very elegant style, you know, fit for a princess.
And do guests understand that concept of the visiting princess as it ties into the rest of the story?
You know, I think they do, because it says, you know, we started with the, even from our show writing experience or copy, you've got the tiara at the top of the marquee, Princess Fairytale Hall, knowing that any princess, because they're all from fairy tales,
right.
We do that, you walk in through the pretty stained glass windows, and then the whole gallery adores, we adore it with very large princess portraits from all over, so you've got Mulan and Jasmine, so I think they understand that once they get them inside there, and they see, and then at the beginning we have the signs that says, you know, you're visiting your princesses today, or Cinderella,
right.
Could be a friend.
Yeah, it's the flow of it is more enjoyable than your standard, you know, you wait in line, you take your photo, and it's nice to be able to have that extra few moments, especially after you've waited maybe 3 or 4 hours to meet the latest additions to it.
Right, they're very popular, and Elsa are very popular, but I think what we do, and we put little story vignettes in those too. I don't know if you've caught that, but in the middle of the two princesses is a little vignette, and of course it's open up to, the storybooks open
right.
up to Snow White, and because Snow White's Scary Adventures was the original home for that, and then we've got little bookmarks that celebrate each of the princesses, little books from in their natural language. So you've got French for Belle, and then you've got Frozen, and it's a little nod to everyone. So it's
right.
a very special experience.
Well, and of course Frozen is I mean, it's the most popular thing in the universe right now. You know, as I said, the wait times are very long. Of course, FastPass Plus is a lovely way to see Anna and Elsa now. When you were developing Princess Fairytale Hall, adding FastPass into there, I mean, was that a real integral part of
exactly.
Of the design
we knew
process?
By opening up we were going to have a Disney's FastPass Plus experience, and so we already knew that throughout our designs. And we also designed Princess Fairytale Hall to accept any princess. So you could have a Mulan in there. It's not any specific, although you might see attention to detail in the wallpaper. You may have a heart or a rose from Aurora, Sleeping Beauty, but then Cinderella has a glass slipper, but really any princess could be there at any moment.
So with such flexibility and how much time people spend with the princesses, how do you gauge, you know, where that maybe cutoff is? Because after somebody's been waiting 3 hours to meet somebody, they can get a little grumpy.
I don't think we really have a cutoff. I think we make it a natural flow, and
okay.
to my knowledge, we don't. I mean, it's a nice little experience, and then giving you all the other elegant things. And of course, you go right to another princess.
Right,
so
that helps.
You've got two princesses right in a row that you can meet.
Or 3 in the case of Anna and Elsa.
Right.
Yeah.
And we expect the signatures. I mean, they have a quill and a book stand right there for signatures and photography,
sure.
and it's a nice experience.
I've heard of many a little girl coming in there dressed as Elsa and proceeding to sing "Let It Go" in its entirety.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So, you know, it is nice that you're able to do that. Is there ever a point, though, where you think, our guests are waiting very, very long time for these the most popular things. Should we cut back that interaction, or is it that important?
I think it's very important to keep the interaction with our cast members and exceed their expectations. I do know that our cast members encouraged to come at other times in the daytime, of course, and it's very. Anna Nelson just came to the Magic Kingdom just a few weeks ago, so I mean, they are very good at encouraging our guests to come back at other times, first thing in the mornings or different times like that. But I think the offering is important, and our guests are telling us they'll wait to see those pretty princesses. They will. When
developing Princess Fairytale Hall, was there ever a thought that it might be the wrong direction for meet and greets, in that since Snow White has left, she's just been kind of out and about, mingling in the streets and town square, and it's really nice to sort of naturally come across a character in the park?
That discovery as well. I think that's important to have that. You know, we'll always have our characters walking around in the park, but I think again, it's a sense of discovery. You want to be in Fantasyland and turn around and see the White Rabbit. I mean, we're going to continue to do those experiences as well.
So it just depends on which character it is.
Correct.
Okay. Is there a future for Anna and Elsa at Princess Fairytale Hall, elsewhere?
I think there's lots of opportunities for Anna and Elsa all around our theme park. So I would stay tuned and look to see what's coming up next. That experience with Anna and Elsa has brought us a new chapter and things that we can look at as Imagineers and design attractions around them, or different experiences. Absolutely.
I really enjoyed seeing Olaf in California. It's disappointing that we don't see him out here. So, should there be future Frozen opportunities?
Absolutely. I mean, that whole movie gave us opportunities to see them, and we're always looking at opportunities to expand, especially anything that we do right there.
And then, let's say they left. A new princess becomes part of the princess community. Princess Fairytale Hall will be here for a long time, right?
Exactly.
Accepting whoever.
Yeah. Visiting any princess that can buy. I mean, absolutely. Snow White, Cinderella will come in. Of course, it's her area, but you can see it.
So there you have it. The future of Frozen at Walt Disney World definitely includes, well, something. Anna and Elsa are not staying at Princess Fairytale Hall forever. They're certainly there for now, and Disney's perfectly happy with those long lines, because once guests get in there, they can spend essentially as much time as they want with those princesses, which is really interesting. I don't know that I've ever heard that kind of officially confirmed by Disney, that you go into Princess Fairytale Hall and you can literally spend for however long you want talking to them, and they're not going to come in and say, hey, we need to move this along. You are there to do that, to have that long interaction, and that's why those wait times are so long, but it ultimately proves to be worth it for those who really, really want to meet them. Of course, FastPass Plus is a much better option, but moving forward, it sounds like there is definitely more in store from Frozen. They just haven't quite figured out what that more is yet. So that's a little bit of an update on that. I'm actually going to be publishing more about the world of Frozen and where it's going in the future over on InsideTheMagic.net very, very soon. So check the website if you are a Frozen fan to find out even more about the parks and beyond.
Hey, Ricky. Hi, Ricky. Hi, Ricky. Hey, Ricky. Hi, Ricky. Hi, Ricky. Hey, Ricky. Ricky, this is amazing.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
Inside the Magic listener feedback.
Getting to listener feedback a little earlier in the show this week, because I have a whole lot of emails that I want to cover, because it's been stacking up for the last few weeks as I've had so much to talk about. So jump right into it and hopefully be able to clear out all of this queue of excellent comments and questions, starting with Martin from England, who writes, many thanks for your weekly podcast, website, and videos. It really keeps the magic going for my wife Yvonne and myself until our next trip, which we've just booked for summer 2015. Over the weekend, we watched all your Mine Train videos and realized that when Doc rings the bell, the clock near him shows 5 p.m., and they are singing Home From Work We Go, which fits in with the ride, ending with them in the cottage. On the show, reviewing the ride, I was listening in the car, and on the way to and from work today, and I'm sure you said they were off to work and singing Off to Work We Go. Have we got it wrong, or did you say the wrong thing? Martin, you're not the only one to have noticed this. Yes, I misspoke. Home from work naturally makes perfect sense as the dwarves are leaving the mine and heading back to the cottage. So yes, I did say the wrong thing. It does happen every once in a while, so thanks for the email. Next is from Karen, who writes in the last episode, you talked a lot about merchandising at Disney, and I was wondering if you knew of plans for Disney to bring back the line of pet products that they used to have. Several years ago, I remember being able to buy collars and leashes, water bowls, and even treats from various stores around the parks. There was even this little short-lived store at Downtown Disney that sold exclusively pet products. Then one day, everything just disappeared. I always thought the pet line would come back, especially considering how many people have pets these days. Even Fort Wilderness added a dog park a few years ago. As someone who does not have kids to spend my money on, I would certainly be willing to buy Disney products for my pets. Well, Karen, unfortunately, I haven't heard anything of the sort. I do remember the store you were talking about because that was great. Like you, I don't have any kids, but we do have a cat, and we bought many a cat toy in that store. We had bowls and placemats and little squishy balls for her to chase around and all that sort of thing. And you're right, it all has vanished. I guess it must not have sold as well as the kids' toys. So unfortunately, I haven't heard anything recently about any pet products from Disney coming around or coming back anytime soon. Heather writes in and says, I'm planning a trip to Disney World this fall, and I want to take a little trip to Universal Studios. I've been to Universal Hollywood multiple times, but never to the Orlando park. Is it possible to do in one day, or are multiple days better? Also, for an October visit, is an express pass worth it? Well, Heather, you'll certainly have a good time over there, and considering that Diagon Alley is opening up at Universal Studios Florida this summer, yes, you need more than one day if you want to see everything. The parks just keep expanding. There's more and more and more, and Potter is certainly the most popular thing there, and it will be swamped this year once that opens. And so even coming in October after the summer is over, it's still going to be very popular. Add to the fact that Halloween Horror Nights is going on quite regularly throughout October. Not every night, but most nights. If you happen to be going to the parks on 1 or 2 days when Horror Nights is going on there and you're not going to be participating in that event, the park hours for Universal Studios Florida are actually shortened. So an express pass potentially could become more valuable at that point if you want to see everything within a shorter amount of time. However, the Diagon Alley attraction's not likely to be part of the Express Pass program, so you're going to have to just end up waiting in some lines to, check out the Hogwarts Express, to check out, Escape from Gringotts and everything else that will be there. I'm sure you'll be able to just spend hours in there taking all of that in. So in short, I would say 2 days would probably be a good idea. Express Pass, not absolutely necessary. It just depends on how much you want to see. If you want to see everything, it certainly will help. Next email comes in from Mark, who writes, I just found your podcast and could not be happier or more impressed. I think your show is fantastic, and I've been listening to it almost non-stop since finding it last week. Learning a lot from your show and looking forward to each new podcast. My question is, my partner and I will be celebrating our 25-year anniversary in 2016, and we'd like to have a commitment ceremony and celebration at Walt Disney World since we've both become big fans during our lives together. However, we are afraid this would not be allowed in such a family-oriented environment. Do you know if this is something that Disney allows or at least tolerates? Any information that you can give will be very helpful. Thanks again for such a great show, and have a magical day. Well, it's a very interesting topic there, Mark. Certainly something that can be controversial. In my opinion, it shouldn't be. But the good news is, since 2007, Disney has offered commitment ceremonies for same-sex couples. So it's not something that should be frowned upon in any way whatsoever by Disney. There shouldn't be any problems with it being, as you said, a family-oriented environment, because same-sex couples are still a family, as far as I'm concerned, as far as Disney's concerned as well. So you're not going to have an issue there. It is something that is indeed available from Disney. So that should help you out quite a bit. And congrats on 25 years. Jess from England writes in, says, I've been listening to your podcast for nearly 2 years now. Thanks for the inside info to Disney. It makes my interest grow and grow. I've just come back from a trip to Walt Disney World where I stayed at Old Key West, and the Magic Bands were amazing, other than me and my 3 family members didn't get the ones we booked till 2 days later. It meant now we have 2 Magic Bands. I would advise anyone who is thinking about Magic Bands to use them. They were so easy to use, and we had no problems with them. Another point that I want to applaud Disney for is on my first day at the Magic Kingdom, a seagull seagull unfortunately relieved itself and landed on my t-shirt. However, there were 2 Disney security nearby, and once they realized what happened, they were more than helpful to see if I needed anything, and they gave me a new t-shirt, which in the store was $33, and I got it for free. Only in Disney would this happen. Just a very amusing story there. It's nice to hear that Disney steps in, even in matters like that they're completely out of their control. As far as the Magic Bands, good to hear that you had a positive experience with them, other than somehow ending up with twice the Magic Bands that you needed. It's certainly some kinks are still being worked out. I mentioned the Star Wars weekends FastPass Plus bookings earlier, and I saw at least one person over on our Facebook page note that they had signed up just after midnight when the availability went up for the talk show with Mark Hamill, that they had signed up for that one, and then the next day when they went back to check, their FastPass had somehow been switched to a completely different show, and they were no longer available, so they were kind of annoyed with that. So there are definitely still some bugs in the system that need to be worked out. But for the most part, it seems to be working fairly smoothly, and it sounds like you had a good time. Next email is from John, who writes, and actually this is kind of on the same topic. John writes, what happened to you with FastPass Plus system was awful, and I applaud your patience during the whole ordeal. I'll backtrack here. John is talking about the fact that I went to meet Anna and Elsa at the Magic Kingdom at Princess Fairytale Hall for the first time. The first morning that they were there, had my FastPass booked for 30 days, and somehow it just magically vanished due to some bug in the system. And anyway, after a couple of hours, it all worked out. Continuing with John's email, I myself have never experienced any problems with the new FastPass Plus systems, and hope Disney fixes the problems with the new system. Many people are using your experience to bash the system and are demanding that Disney brings back the old system, but I, for one, do not want the old system back. FastPass Plus, with all its flaws, is a much better system than the old one, in my opinion. If this meet and greet had been a part of the old FastPass system with its popularity, you would have had to get to the park early before FastPasses ran out. On that day, there was an early extra magic hour in the morning, not to mention it was one of the busiest days at the Magic Kingdom, Easter, and when you entered the park at 9 a.m. after the hotel guests, the FastPass return time would have been sometime late that afternoon, or worse, you would not have gotten a FastPass at all. Comparing that option to what you experienced, even with the glitch, you waited less time and spent less time overall in the Magic Kingdom. I'm not using these reasons to justify the problems you experienced with the system. That should have never happened, but I think a lot of the fans are forgetting the problems of the legacy FastPass, how much time and effort it took to get a FastPass for a popular attraction. As a former FastPass runner, I will not miss the early morning run to Soarin' for FastPass. John, you are absolutely right. It is easy to knock the new system when little bugs show up, but for the most part, it is a whole lot more convenient. I mean, just the simple fact, if you want to really, really boil it down, just the simple fact that you can book 3 attractions at once from one location, even if you don't do it in advance, you don't do it till you get to the park that day, you go to one kiosk, you can book 3 instead of just one. That's an improvement alone, because you used to have to run all over the park. You know, you go way over here, you put your ticket in, you get a FastPass, you wait an hour, you go way over here, you do it again, and that was the process. Now it's a lot more simple. You can do 3 at once. Then after those 3, it kind of reverts back to the old way in a sense that then for the rest of the day you can grab 1 at a time. However, you can still visit any kiosk anywhere and book it for any attraction that's still available anywhere else in the park. You don't have to go to a specific machine that's, way across the park. You can just go to your nearest one. So there's another great convenience. Just then there's the fact that you can use the app to make changes on the fly for your 3. You can book them in advance, and there are many, many advantages to FastPass Plus, certainly. Yes, there are bugs. Yes, there are kinks. They are going to be working these out. They haven't really said, despite the fact that it kind of has officially rolled out, they're still testing. They're still working on it, and there will still be more changes to come. And so, as the system sort of settles in, it will get better and better. But even right now, as it is, with a few sort of snafus aside, it is a good system that is only going to get better as time goes on. Blake from Victoria, British Columbia writes in and says, thanks for putting on a great show and the hours of entertainment you've given so many of us over the years. I was listening to last week's show and a thought came to me. There are usually some special characters out from many events, and I was wondering if there were characters in the park to celebrate Mother's Day. There are some really good mothers in the world of Disney and some really bad ones too, and I would think it'd be a nice opportunity to see them for Mother's Day. Does Disney celebrate Mother's Day? Blake, great question. Of course, today being Mother's Day, and unfortunately I don't really think that Disney Disney brings out any special characters for Mother's Day, they do hand out flowers at the entrance of the Magic Kingdom. Might even be the other parks. I know it's at the Magic Kingdom. To mothers as they, come in, pass through the turnstiles, and sort of mark the day for them. So that's a nice touch, but I don't know that I've heard of anything specifically going on, at least not this year, for Mother's Day in terms of bringing out extra characters. It's something, if you think about the grand history of Disney and mothers, you're right, there are good ones, there are bad ones, and then, well, unfortunately, there's also that issue of a lot of parents, dying in many a film. So there's that. But for the most part, there's definitely some characters they could bring out, but in short, no, I don't think they have done anything of the sort today. Ryan writes in, and his email says, you probably have heard this, but if not, Tinkerbell is apparently moving over to Town Square Theater, where the princesses used to be. Construction has been coming along pretty quickly over the past couple of weeks, and it looks like they've gotten most of the drywalling done for the rooms and are ready to focus on the detail work. Interesting note there, Ryan. I have not heard anything definitive of the Tinkerbell or any of the other fairies moving out of the magical nook over in Adventureland, but there is a hole left in Town Square Theater for the moment that I'm sure will be filled with either that or something else pretty fun very, very soon. Next email comes in from Brittany, who writes, I'm getting married on June 14th, and we're going to spend a few days at Walt Disney World on our honeymoon before heading to Jamaica. I know it's going to be crowded and hot, but hey, we have a dinner reservation at California Grill on Sunday night during the fireworks, and I was wondering, and as I was perusing the menu, there are so many choices that I have no idea where to start. I recall you and Skipper Ben previously speaking very highly of this particular restaurant. I was wondering if you have any favorites or recommendations for food and or drinks at the newly renovated California Grill. Well, Brittany, great question there, because the restaurant is definitely a wonderful one. It was before the renovations, but now it still is. I don't know if Ben, who hasn't been on the show very much, we'll have to change that very soon. It's been quite a while since he's been on here, so we're going to have to get him back on soon. But I know he raved about the old version of the restaurant. I'm not sure, I can't remember if he has been there since the update, but I definitely have, and I tried quite a lot from the menu, and I enjoyed quite a lot. In fact, almost everything that I had there was good. So, my first recommendation is don't be afraid to try whatever, because it is quite an enjoyable restaurant. There's a lot to take in and be satisfied by. With that said, the meatballs there were really excellent. The 3 meat signature meatballs, I definitely enjoyed that. If you're a little more adventurous, the duck in all its glory is an interesting presentation of, as they call it, a head-to-tail presentation of various preparations of duck. It definitely takes a little bit more interest in food, because it's got sausage and it's got prosciutto, which are great, but then it's got things like pate, which is a little, takes a little bit of experimenting, if you will, to get into that. There is a fillet of beef, the oak-fired fillet. It just melts in your mouth. There's a great heirloom tomato risotto that's served with this. The roasted squash ravioli, really good as well. There's a pork belly, pork 2 ways with pork belly that is absolutely fantastic. And as you hear, pretty much everything. It just tastes wonderful. Now, things may have changed a little bit since I was been there. It's been a few months since I was there last, so the menu can change as things come into season, etc. But I don't think you're going to go wrong with much there. There's a great little, for dessert, this Sundae sampler that has 3 sort of playful little desserts on it. That's a lot of fun to eat as well. So just kind of whatever seems interesting to you on the menu, I would say go with that, because it's really just a great restaurant. Next email is from Kevin, who writes, longtime listener, enjoy the podcast every week. Let's see, another theme park blog is reporting that construction has begun on the King Kong attraction adjacent to Jurassic Park at Islands of Adventure and has posted pictures of construction. I know it was rumored that there were expansions coming to Jurassic Park. Do you know if this construction is part of the Jurassic Park expansion, or is King Kong coming, or is King Kong the expansion? Well, Kevin, Universal hasn't confirmed anything, but the rumors are very, very strong that some form of King Kong excitement is indeed coming to Islands of Adventure. It's unclear as to exactly what that means. It's reportedly not the, sort of a lift of the King Kong 360 3D experience out in California. It's something different and new, but Peter Jackson's King Kong is something that has sort of faded away in recent years. It's not exactly a hot topic anymore. So it would be interesting to see what sort of execution of this famous property Universal does go with, especially considering the history of King Kong at Universal. The old ride was something I loved. It's where the Mummy is now, Universal Studios Florida. I loved that old King Kong attraction. I can't imagine they would build anything like that. But, an animatronic heavy attraction is something I would love to see. But something of the scale of King Kong with big, giant ape and dinosaurs and whatnot, then, I would expect something pretty spectacular. I don't know. I can't confirm anything for sure, but definitely lots of possibilities in the future. So that's kind of a non-answer, but that's the best I can give right now. Next email comes in from Christina and Monica, who writes, "My daughter wanted me to send this to you, as so many Disney fans debate the human name of the Beast. At least according to the dolls being sold at Toys R Us, he is now, quote-unquote, officially, being referred to as Adam. On a separate note, do you know if the barbershop in Magic Kingdom cuts and or styles girls' hair and what their pricing is like?" Well, Christina, officially, really officially, the Beast's name is not Adam. For a little while, there were some products that made them official products made to market that showed the name Adam on there. However, that was some poorly researched product developer that should not have put that on there, and Disney is doing their best to squash those items and not give that name there, because those who were involved in actually creating the film swear that Adam was never a name for that character. So that's sort of the official word. It will continue to be unofficially named Adam, I suppose, but that is not the official name. As far as the Magic Kingdom, you can definitely get girls style. I don't know the specifics of how exactly that works, what it looks like, or how much it costs, unfortunately. But I'm sure you could just show up and find out when you get there. There's always the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique as well for styling. Next email comes in from Paul from the UK, who writes, "Thanks for the great coverage of the new Festival of Fantasy Parade. While the new floats look fantastic, I can't help but think that the parade characters seem heavily skewed to the Princess franchises. It's nearly 3 years since I saw the Celebrate Parade, so it may have subsequently changed, but I recall the likes of Mary Poppins and Aladdin, as well as characters from Song of the South, Robin Hood, and The Lion King, and Jungle Book. Of the huge 1990s Disney Renaissance movies, it is noticeable that The Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast remain, while Aladdin and The Lion King do not. And now that the Animal Kingdom parade is being shelved, many of the animal characters no longer have a presence in any daytime parade at Walt Disney World. I understand that the imbalance is caused by the success of most of the most recent movies, which all feature princesses, but I just wondered whether you viewed the new parade as a little light on classic characters for the whole family." Paul, good point, good thing to observe while watching that parade. However, I don't feel like it's noticeably princessy in any way. It's princessy, certainly heavy at the very beginning, because that's where the big princess float shows up, but and then, of course, there's, as you said, The Little Mermaid, but there's a lot going on around the princesses that will appeal to everybody. And then, of course, there's that amazing Maleficent dragon unit, which is not princessy at all. In fact, Aurora's not even in the parade. Instead, it's focusing on Prince Philip and Maleficent as a dragon and all of her minions around her. So the balance, I think, is there. You're right. A lot of the characters that you mentioned are not in the parade. I certainly would have liked to have seen more from Aladdin. Definitely one of my favorite Disney films, and anytime there's more of that is a good thing, but I think it works. I really enjoy the Festival Fantasy Parade, and I never really felt like it was too girly or princessy or anything like that. I think there is a nice balance there. Maybe it skews a little bit in that direction, but I do think boys will enjoy it as soon as the dragon rears its head back and shoots out flames. I mean, there's really nothing cooler than that. Victoria writes in and says, I have lived in the Orlando area for all my life and have been a regular Disney goer as well as a huge Disney fanatic, and later this summer I am visiting Disneyland and California Adventure for the first time, and I was wondering what you would suggest as must-dos considering how much I have been to Walt Disney World. We have one day devoted to Disneyland and one day devoted to California Adventure. Well, Victoria, great question. There's certainly a lot of differences between here and out there, and you can have fun with sort of those direct comparison moments. Definitely go on Space Mountain out there, and go on Big Thunder Mountain out there, and go on the Haunted Mansion, go on Pirates of the Caribbean, you know, the staples, and you will be delighted to see how different they really are. In many cases, better. Pirates is definitely better at Disneyland. Space Mountain is definitely better out there. Haunted Mansion is the original, but with the recent upgrades out here, I don't know, it's kind of a toss-up, etc. So there's a lot of fun to be had as far as that goes. It's probably easier if I say the things that you don't necessarily need to do, like Star Tours, for example. It is essentially identical to the Star Tours out here at Disney's Hollywood Studios. It's tough to be a bug, almost exactly the same. Muppet Vision 3D, practically the exact same thing. So there are definitely certain attractions that you can skip for the sake of time and to do other things that are more unique. The Fantasyland dark rides are certainly something you want to see all of, including the Storybook boats and the Casey Jr. train and everything in Fantasyland. Really make a point to see all of that because they're so very different from anything at Walt Disney World. Certainly California Adventure has a lot to offer that is not out here. All of Cars Land, Buena Vista Street, even the Tower of Terror out there is largely the same, but definitely has one very noteworthy difference that if you don't already know about it, I don't want to spoil the surprise, but you definitely want to go. Actually, I guess two very big differences. You'll definitely want to go check that out while you're out there. There's a lot of great restaurants in California, certainly, something that you will find very different flavors than you will out here at Walt Disney World as well, so don't pass up the opportunity to eat whenever you can. I could go on and on. So there's a sampling of things that come to the top of my head right away. Really just do your best to explore and enjoy all of the newness that will be the Disneyland Resort for you. Couple of more emails and we will wrap up this week's show. And next is from Raja, who says, yes, like the tiger in Aladdin, I was named after by my sister. Disney fun fact. Anyway, Raja writes, I was wondering if you knew who records all the choral music for the shows and parades. All of Disney's music sounds very similar with distinct voices, and I was just curious if it is computer generated or if there's a choir. If so, have they had the same members for a while? Because most of the Wishes voices sound incredibly similar. Raja, that's a great question. I don't know the answer to that specifically. I can tell you the same composer was involved in Mickey's Soundsational Parade as was the Festival Fantasy Parade. So just to give a couple of recent examples, but you're certainly talking about dating back many, many years, and I can't imagine they use the exact same vocalist for every single one of those recordings. I'm sure people come and go. They probably just hire choirs as needed. Disney will certainly utilize whatever musicians that are talented and available at the time. So my best guess is they're definitely not computer generated. They're definitely real people singing. But I don't know specifically who the choir is. If they're a certain group or groups that sing for these events. It's an interesting question that I would be interested to find out the answer to. If anyone knows, are there particular groups that Disney hires from, or is it just assembling some of the best singers around? James writes, just visited Disney World in March, didn't really have a problem with the Magic Bands, didn't realize you could choose the ride times after making your selection, but now I know for next time. My question is, talking Mickey Mouse, is he permanently in Town Square Theater or just there on occasion? Every time I went by, it was a 50-minute wait, and if I had known he was there, I would have made it a fast pass. James, yes, Mickey is indeed talking and having a conversation all the time, every day, now in Town Square Theater at the Magic Kingdom. It's the only place that Mickey has a chance to talk with guests, so certainly something worth visiting next time you're in the park. And though I do have quite a few more emails, we're not going to be able to get through all of them this week by any means, so that'll be it for listener feedback this week. And that'll do it for show 475. Once again, happy Mother's Day to all you moms out there, including my own. Hopefully your Mother's Day is treating you well for all of you, and you can again maybe be a better mother than Mother Gothel, you heard at the top of the show. She's not a very good mom. In fact, there's a lot of not very good moms in the world of Disney, but some good ones as well. So try to be more like the good ones. Anyway, there's a lot of theme park fun coming up very, very soon. Certainly all eyes are fixated on Universal Orlando, where Diagon Alley is rapidly coming together. The London waterfront area looks like it's really shaping up to where construction walls could come down very, very soon. And then maybe some soft openings for Hogwarts Express Train, and then ultimately getting into Diagon Alley and riding Escape from Gringotts. We don't have an opening date yet, but some exciting details are coming up very soon. Maybe we will have that opening date set within a few days. I don't know. We'll see. The date won't be in a few days, but they might announce what that date is within a few days. But there's much, much more going on. Of course, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train in a couple of weeks is going to be officially opening. The 24-hour Rock Your Disney Side Day will be happening at Walt Disney World and Disneyland. Ehu's Breakaway Falls just opened at Aquatica. Falcon's Fury should be opening any day now, whenever they set a date over at Busch Gardens. And the rest of Cabana Bay is going to be opening at Universal Orlando. And I'm sure I'm forgetting other things. Lots of really fun things to look forward to in the coming weeks as we move into the summer season. And I'm looking forward to seeing all of it and sharing all of the fun with all of you. I do want to thank Magical Travel for sponsoring this week's episode of Inside the Magic. You can find out more about their services by visiting magicaltravel.com, and also check out Scooter Vacations if you need some better mobility. They have many scooters to choose from with 24-hour customer service, so check them out at scootorlando.com. And of course, visit us at InsideTheMagic.net. It is your source for Disney and theme park news, all of our podcasts and videos, photos, news articles, and a whole lot more. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook and YouTube to keep up with all of the latest Disney and theme park fun between episodes of this show. So thanks to all of you for listening each and every week, and have a magical week. Bye.
Beautiful tomorrow, just a dream away.